Okay, Leslie, it looks like we're ready to go. We have our first competitor in camp. We're just waiting on a second gateman there. Our judges are nearly ready. Our judges today, Mr. Daniel Cheers and Mr. Wayne Deneen. Wayne Deneen, of course, a Queensland judge, and Daniel Cheers from New South Wales. The Willinga Pastoral Co cattle are in the yard. Grounds are ready to go. So we are watching the final of the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Draft. Competitor 1, Cameron Lee, riding Smith Family Trixie. Competitor 2, Jason Kamisky on Dash. Competitor 3, Louise Kamisky on Good Time Chick. Competitor 4, Steve Kamisky on Hat Full of Jewels. 5, John Turvy on Fable. 6, Wyatt Young on Shady Spin and Pepsi. 7, Pete Kamisky on Roy. 8, Rowan Marks on Turner Marks Goolagong. 9, Michael Hayes riding Merle, Branchvale Conviction. 10 will be Cameron Webster riding Bob. We'll keep reading those names because, of course, competitors would be looking for that draw. Not much service out the back there. So number 1 in camp, Cameron Lee riding Smith Family Trixie. Cameron brings an 89 from the first round.
And he's outside competitor number 1, Cameron Lee and Smith Family Trixie. This is Cameron and Jane's own nomination. Of course, they hail from Umamara. And as I said before, they've only just run their draft there. And it does take a lot of people to help run these events. And we thank Jane Lee for assisting us this week with our draft here. And we'll have a score shortly.
Score through there for Cameron Lee, riding Smith Family Trixie of a 14.5, together with his 89 from the first round, gives him a total of 103.5. Jason Kamisky in camp, looking over his cattle, is competitor number 2, riding Dash. He brings an 89.5 from the first round. 3 will be Louise Kamisky riding Good Time Chick. 4, Steve Kamisky on Hat Full of Jewels. 5, John Turvy riding Fable. 6, Wyatt Young on Shady Spin and Pepsi. This is the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Draft Final this afternoon. There are 28 competitors in total in this Open, which will conclude our drafting for the 6 days here, Willinga at Juandah Plains Campdraft.
And he's outside competitor number 2, Jason Kamisky, riding Dash. This is Jason's own nomination, and he hails from Alpha. And as Karen said, he brings an 89.5 into this final. There were 28 competitors with 89 and above going into the final of the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Camp Draft. This is number 2.
It's a 14 only there for Jason, unfortunately. Together with his 89.5, gives him a total of 103.5. Louise Kamisky in camp, looking at her cattle. Competitor number 4 in the draw, riding Hat Full of Jewels, and she brings forward an 89 from the first round. On standby at the gate, John Turvy is number 5, riding Fable. 6, Wyatt Young on Shady Spin and Pepsi. 7, Pete Kamisky riding Nashvale Royal L Destiny. 8, Rowan Marks on Turner Marks Goolagong. 9, Michael Hayes on Branchvale Conviction. 10, Cameron Webster riding Bob. 11, Stuart Wallace on Catnap. And 12, Andrew Storman riding Rathcool Athena.
Outside, we watch competitor number 3, Louise Kamisky, Good Time Chick. This is Louise's own nomination. This combination comes from Central Queensland, Capella to be exact. Louise is riding for $5,670 if she can win this draft, the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Camp Draft. That will go to the winner.
Score through there for Louise Kamisky, riding Good Time Chick of a 22, 64 and 4 for a 90. Together with her 89 from the first round, gives her the lead at 179. In camp now, competitor 4, Steve Kamisky, riding Hat Full of Jewels. He'll be building on an 89 from the first round. On standby, 5, John Turvy, 6, Wyatt Young, 7, Pete Kamisky, 8, Rowan Marks, 9, Michael Hayes and 10, Cameron Webster.
Outside, we watch competitor number 4, Steve Kamisky, and Hat Full of Jewels. This is the other part of the partnership. This is Steve Kamisky riding Steve and Louise Kamisky's Hat Full of Jewels. Again, this partnership comes from Capella in Central Queensland.
Score through there for Steve Kamisky, riding Hat Full of Jewels, 14.5, 59.5 and a 4 for a 78. Together with his 89 from the first round gives him a total of 167. John Turvy has moved into camp. He's competitor number 5. He's riding Fable and he's building on an 89 from the previous round. 6 on standby, Wyatt Young on Shady Spin and Pepsi. 7, Pete Kamisky on Nashville Vale Royal Destiny. 8, Rowan Marks riding Turner Marks Goolagong. 9, Michael Hayes on Branch Vale Conviction. 10, Cameron Webster riding Bob. 11, Stuart Wallace on Catnap. And 12, Andrew Storman on Rathcool Athena.
Outside, competitor number 5, John Turvy riding Fable. This is John's own nomination, hails from St George, and as Karen said, brings an 89 into this final.
You are watching the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open final. This afternoon, our final event for the week here at Juandah Plains. I have a score through there for John Turvy of a 22, 63.5 and a 4 for an 89.5. Together 89 from the first round gives him a total of 178.5. In camp now, competitor 6, Wyatt Young, riding Shady Spin and Pepsi, building on an 89 from the first round. 7 will be Pete Kamisky, 8, Rowan Marks, 9, Michael Hayes, 10, Cameron Webster, 11, Stuart Wallace, 12, Andrew Storman, 13, Curt Hanrahan.
He's outside, competitor number 6, Wyatt Young, riding Shady Spin and Pepsi. And again, this is Wyatt's own nomination. And this is the first of our New South Wales competitors. Wyatt comes from Tamworth in New South Wales. He's got quite a drive to go home. And we certainly appreciate those New South Wales guys and the Victorians coming up to Queensland to compete here at Juandah Plains.
We'll just wait on a score there for you, Wyatt. But in the meantime, we have competitor 7, Pete Kamisky, riding Nashvale Royal Destiny, building on an 89 from the first round. 8 on standby, moving into camp, Rowan Marks. 9, Michael Hayes. 10, Cameron Webster.
So outside we watch number 7, Pete Kamisky. He's our Nebo competitor, comes from Queensland, of course, and I reckon Peter just about drive anywhere for a camp draft. He's heads down to New South Wales when necessary and camp drafts here in Queensland. He's riding Nashvale Royal Destiny, commonly known as Roy.
We'll come back with some scores in a moment. In camp now, we have competitor 8, Rowan Marks, riding Turner Marks Goolagong, building on an 89. 9 will be Michael Hayes on Branchvale Conviction. 10, Cameron Webster on Bob. 11, Stuart Wallace on Catnap. And 12, Andrew Storman on Rathcoole Athena.
And he's outside, competitor number 8, Rowan Marks, with Turner Marks Goolagong. Charlwood competitor brings an 89 into this final.
I can tell you now that Wyatt Young's score was a 22.5, 63 and 4 for an 89.5. Together with his 111.5 from the first round gives him a total of 201. We will come back to you with some scores there, but in camp now we are watching competitor 9, Michael Hayes, riding Branchvale Conviction, and he's building on a 90 from the first round.
Michael Hayes, you watch, competitor number 9 with Merle, otherwise Branchvale Conviction. This is Michael and Beck Hayes' nomination, hailing from Scone. Had a 90 in the first round. Well, yes, let's see what he comes up with for a 2-round total.
We'll go back to competitor 7, Pete Kamisky's score. It was a 23, 61 and 4 for a total of 88. Leaves Pete Kamisky at number 7 with a score of 177. We have in camp now competitor 10, Cameron Webster, riding Bob. He'll be building on a score of 91.5 from the previous round. Competitor 11, you'll be next in, Stuart Wallace on Catnap. 12, Andrew Storman on Rathcool Athena. 13, Curt Hanrahan on PV Grasshopper. 14, Josh Smith on Conduit. 15, Sam Campbell on Coneye. And 16, Andrew Turvy on Knipe's Destiny Playgirl.
Outside, number 10, Cameron Webster and Bob. This is Cameron and Sarah Webster's nomination from local competitors here from Warren. This is a big score, 91.5, coming into this final round. We have had a couple of glitches up here. We'll get you some scores very shortly.
So I can go back and give you a score from competitor 8, Rowan Marks on Turner Marks Goolagong of a 22.63 and 4 for an 89. Together with his 89 from the first round gives him a total of 178. We will come back to you with more of those scores. Currently in camp we have competitor 11, Stuart Wallace riding Catnap, building on a 90.5 from the previous round. 12 will be Andrew Storman on Rathcool Athena. 13, Curt Hanrahan on PV Grasshopper. 14, Josh Smith on Conduit. 15, Sam Campbell on Coneye. 16, Andrew Turvy on Knipe's Destiny's Playgirl. 17, Stephen Hart on Yaven Smooth Spin. 18, John Mulcahy on Stratton Jest Rosie. And 19, Ben Hall on Chisholm's Cash. So we are watching Stuart Wallace riding Catnap, building on a 90.5 from the first round. Okay, score there for Michael Hayes of a 23.64 and 4 for a total of 91. With his 90, it gives him a score of 181.
Watching competitor number 11, Stuart Wallace and Catnap. This is Stuart and Kerry Wallace's nomination from Clark Creek. He's looking to add to his 90.5.
I can give you a score now from competitor 10, Cameron Webster, of a 22.63 and 4 for an 89. Together with his 91.5 from the first round gives him a total of 181. Sorry, 181.5. Okay.
And unfortunately, no score there for Stuart. He goes out with his first round score of 90.5. Andrew Storman comes on camp with number 12, Rathcool Athena.
We watch in camp competitor 12, Andrew Storman riding Rathcool Athena. On standby, 13, Curt Hanrahan. 14, Josh Smith. 15, Sam Campbell. 16, Andrew Turvy. 17, Stephen Hart.
Calls for his gate. He's outside. Competitor number 12, Andrew Storman, and Rathcool Athena. This is Andrew's own nomination. Hails from Fernvale. Brings an 89.5. 89.5 into the final. And we'll have a cutout for Andrew and his score very, very shortly.
In camp now we have competitor 13, Curt Hanrahan, riding PV Grasshopper. 14 on standby will be Josh Smith on Conduit. 15, Sam Campbell on Conai. 16, Andrew Turvy, riding Knipe's Destiny's Playgirl. 17, Stephen Hart on Yaven Smooth Spin. 18, John Malai on Stratton Jest Rosie. 19, Ben Hall on Chisholm's Cash. 20, David Reer riding Cody. Score there for Andrew Storman of a 21.5, together with his 89.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 111.
Outside, we have number 13, Curt Hanrahan and PV Grasshopper. This is Curt and Erica Hanrahan's nomination from Billawheeler. And he brings an 89 into this final. And as you know, 89 and over was the cut-off point to go into the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Campdraft final. Big scores. It's anyone's draft.
In the camp now we've got Josh Smith riding Conduit. On standby 15 will be Sam Campbell, 16 Andrew Turvy, 17 Stephen Hart. Score there for Curt Hanrahan of a 22, 63.5 and a 4 for a total of 89.5, together with his 89 from the first round gives him a 178.5. So in camp we are watching competitor 14 Josh Smith riding Conduit. On standby 15 Sam Campbell.
And that's a no score there for Josh. He leaves the camp with an 89.5, 89.5. Just have a moment to change our cattle, and when we come back, we'll continue on with competitor number 15, Sam Campbell and Conai. Standing by also 16, Andrew Turvy, 17, Stephen Hart, 18, John Malai, 19, Ben Hall, 20, David Reer, 21, Wyatt Young, 22, Rowan Marks, 23, Joe Payne, 24, Vicki Hiscock, 25, Peter Black, 26, Peter O'Neill, 27, Bryony Puddicombe, and 28 will be Carl Green.
We're back on track. We have competitor 15 in camp, Sam Campbell riding Conai, building on an 89.5 from the first round. 16, you'll be next in camp, Andrew Turvy riding Knipe's Destiny's Playgirls. 17, Stephen Hart riding Yaven Smooth Spin. 18, John Malai on Stratton Jest Rosie. We do have a current leader, Michael Hayes riding Branchvale Conviction, otherwise known as Moore, with a 181. So we do have currently a clear leader.
And you're watching the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Camp Draft. The winner of this draft will receive $5,670. They'll also take home a Ride Tough buckle and are made by Harl's Saddlecloth. We have already determined the cutout winner, and they will take home $500 in cash. And I can tell you that's Peter O'Neill. We'll tell you more about Pete a bit later on.
Score there for Sam Campbell, 22.5, 64 and 4 for a 90.5. Together with his 89.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 180. 16 in camp, Andrew Turvy, riding Knipes Destiny's Playgirl, building on an 89 from the first round. 17, you'll be next in, Stephen Hart on Yaven Smooth Spin. 18, John Malai on Stratton Jess Rosie. 19, Ben Hall on Chisholm's Cash. 20, David Reer riding Cody. 21, Wyatt Young riding Binia Milan.
Outside, 16, Andrew Turvy and Knipes Destiny's Playgirl. This is a Willinga Park horse. And, of course, Andrew lives here. He's certainly, you can't get more local than what Andrew is. He brings an 89 into this round.
Score there for Andrew Turvy on Knipes Destiny's Playgirl, 22, 63 and 4 for an 89. His 89 from the previous round gives him a total of 178. In camp now, competitor 17, Stephen Hart riding Yaven Smooth Spin, building on an 89.5 from the first round. 18 will be John Malai riding Stratton Jess Rosie. 19, Ben Hall. 20, David Reer. 21, Wyatt Young. 22, Rowan Marks. 23, Joe Payne. 24, Vicki Hiscock. 25, Peter Black.
Outside, this is one of our judges for the weekend, Stephen Hart, competitor number 17, Yaven Smooth Spin. This is Stephen and Tony Hart's nomination. Combination comes from Gugong. And he's looking to add to his 89.5.
Score there for Stephen Hart of a 22, 63 and 4 for a total of 89, together with his 89.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 178.5. In camp now, competitor 18, John Malai riding Stratton Jess Rosie. He'll be building on a 90 from the first round. 19, you'll be next in camp, Ben Hall riding Chisholm's Cash. 20, David Reer on Cody. 21, Wyatt Young on Binia Milan. 22 will be Rowan Marks riding Turner Marks Sharapova.
And he's outside, competitor number 18, John Malai, Stratton Just Rosie. This is John and Sandy's own nomination. John lives at Roma, has always lived at Roma as far as I know. He's competitor number 18, comes into this round with a 90. John told me once, when he was asked what his best achievement was, he said, any win is a good win. He's trying very hard here in this Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Campdraft.
No doubt about him, Leslie. John Malai, 22, 63 and 4 for an 89, together with his 90 from the previous round, gives him a total of 179. 19 in camp, Ben Hall riding Chisholm's Cash, building on an 89 from the previous round. 20, you'll be next in, David Reader riding Cody. 21, Wyatt Young on Binny Milan. 22, Rowan Marks. 23, Joe Payne. 24, Vicki Hiscock. 25, Peter Black. 26, Peter O'Neill. 27, Bryony Puddicombe. Our final competitor for today, and the final competitor for Juandah Plains 2025 will be Carl Green riding Homeboy.
That's unless we have a runoff, Karen. We've got some very close scores here, so it's not over till the last man runs. We watch competitor 19, Ben Hall, riding Chisholm's Cash. This horse is owned by Ben and his mum, Chris, and Ben hails from Julia Creek.
We've still got a few riders out there helping us hold back the cattle. We really appreciate that help on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Juandah Plains. So we're just having a little bit of trouble there. If we could get some riders to assist, please. So we're back on track and we're watching on camp 19, Ben Hall riding Chisholm's Cash, building on an 89. 20, you'll be next in, David Reader. 21, Wyatt Young, and 22, Rowan Marks.
Outside, we watch competitor 19, Ben Hall, riding Chisholm's Cash, owned by Chris and Ben Hall.
Score there of 19 only, together with his 89 from the first round, leaves him with a total of 108. 20 in camp. We have David Reader riding Cody, building on an 89.5 from the first round. 21, you'll be next in, Wyatt Young on Binny Milan. 22, Rowan Marks on Turner Marks Sharapova. 23, Joe Payne on In Style. 24, Vicki Hiscock riding Mewburn Bamalam. 25 will be Peter Black riding Yavin Freestyler.
Outside, we watch competitor number 20, David Reader and Cody. David hails from Baramba, and a big shout out to Alison. She's probably, if she's not working, she's probably watching on the live stream. And David comes into this round with a total score of 89.5.
Score there for David Reader over 22, 64 and 4 for a 90. Together with his 89.5 gives him a total of 179.5. That'll do, Alison Hay. 21 in camp, Wyatt Young riding Binny Milan, building on an 89 from the first round. And I'll shout out to Lanky and Carey at home watching. I know they'll be watching Wyatt. 22 will be Rowan Marks on Turner Marks Sharapova. 23 Joe Payne on In Style. 24 Vicki Hiscock on Mewburn Bamalam. 25 Peter Black on Yaven Freestyler. 26 Peter O'Neill on Flutter. 27 Bryony Puddicombe on Destiny of Her Own. And 28 will be our final competitor, Carl Green, riding Homeboy.
And he calls for his gate. Out on course, competitor 21, Wyatt Young with Binia Milan. This is Wyatt's own nomination. He hails from Tamworth. Brings an 89 into this final.
Score there for Wyatt Young, 21, 63 and 4 for an 88. Together with his 89 from the first round gives him a total of 177. In camp now, competitor 22, Rowan Marks, riding Turner Marks Sharapova. He'll be building on 89.5 from the first round. Joe Payne, you'll be next in at 23, riding In Style. 24, Vicki Hiscock. 25, Peter Black.
Just to any of the competitors that are heading home tonight, just please be aware there's been an accident 18 kilometres north of Taroom and the highway says that it is closed and expect long delays. So anyone heading north, please just be aware you may need to get some tucker in Taroom. The highway is currently closed and expecting long delays.
And outside we watch competitor 22, Rowan Marks and Turner Marks Sharapova. This is Rowan's own nomination, hails from Childwood, and he's looking to add to that 89.5 from the first round. We also would like to see, if you're on the ground, someone who has initial of H, surname Little, H Little, if you could please come to the secretary's box.
Score through there for Rowan Marks, riding Turner Marks Sharapova. 22, 62 and 4 for an 88. Together with his 89.5 from the previous round, gives him a total of 177.5. Joe Payne in camp, competitor 23, riding In Style, building on an 89 from the first round. 24 will be next in camp, Vicki Hiscock. 25, Peter Black. 26, Peter O'Neill. 27, Bryony Puddicombe. And 28, our final competitor, will be Carl Green. Great big shout out to our two judges who have officiated all day today. Mr. Daniel Cheers from New South Wales and Mr. Wayne Deneen from Queensland.
Talking about Queenslanders, outside is number 23, Joe Payne, In Style. Comes from Undubra. This is Rick Payne's nomination. Big shout out to Rick too. 89 from the first round.
Score through there for Joe Payne, riding In Style. 22.5, 63 and 4 for an 89.5. Together with his 89 from the first round gives him a 178.5. 24 in camp, looking over a cattle. Vicki Hiscock, riding Mewburn Bamalam, building on an 89 from the first round. 25 you'll be next in, Peter Black on Yaven Freestyler. 26 Peter O'Neill on Flutter, 27 Bryony Puddicombe on Destiny of Her Own, and 28 Carl Green riding Homeboy.
Outside, we watch 24 Vicki Hiscock and Mewburn Bamalam. This is Vicki's mare, and of course she comes from Mafra. And we'll have a cutout score shortly.
Score there of 21.5, together with her 89, gives her a total of 110.5. Peter Black has moved into the camp at 25, riding Yaven Freestyler, and he's building on an 89.5 from the first round. 26 will be Peter O'Neill, 27 Bryony Puddicombe, and 28 Carl Green.
Outside, competitor 25. This is Peter Black with Yaven Freestyler, owned by Louise Kamisky. Alpha combination, and comes into this round with an 89.5, 89.5.
Score through there for Peter Black, riding Yaven Freestyler of a 22, 62 and 4 for an 88. Together with his 89.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 177.5. Peter O'Neill has moved into camp. And one of my favourites, Flutter, competitor number 26, building on a 90 from the first round. 27 will be Bryony Puddicombe, 28 Carl Green.
So Pete gives it away. Competitor 26, Pete O'Neill and Flutter. That was Neil and Ruff's nomination. Oh, Pete, I was going to get, but I'm going to say it anyway. So Pete goes out. He does have a consolation prize. He had a 23.5 on Roy in the other round. So he does receive, we'll need him for the presentations. He receives a $500 cash. $500 in cash for being the highest cutout winner on Roy. He also won the Taroom Welding Works Fire Pit with the highest cutout on Toy Time in one of the other drafts. So he's a very experienced cutout king, and just a bit unfortunate there in that particular round. And that's what camp drafting's all about.
So leaves Pete with a 90 in total. So into the camp we have competitor 27, Bryony Puddicombe, riding Destiny of Her Own, and she's building on a 90.5 from the first round. Our final competitor will then move into camp, 28, Carl Green, riding Homeboy. So you are watching the final two competitors of the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Draft. This draft concludes our drafting here at Juandah Plains Campdraft for 2025. So wonderful 6 days of camp drafting here at the beautiful Juandah Plains. And just a quick shout out to my co-commentator Leslie, who's supported us through the thick and thin. I really appreciated your support this weekend, Leslie. In camp now we have competitor 27, Bryony Puddicombe, riding Destiny of Her Own, building on a 90.5 from the first round, and our final competitor will be 28, Carl Green on Homeboy.
And she calls for a gate, and she's out on course. Competitor 27, Bryony Puddicombe, and Destiny of Her Own. Peter Shakespeare's nomination. Combination comes from Nebo. And Bryony had a nice healthy score of 90.5 coming into the final, 90.5.
Score through there for Bryony Puddicombe, riding Destiny of Her Own, of a 15.60.5 and a 4 for a 79.5. Together with a 90.5 from the previous round, gives her a 2-round total of 170. Our final competitor is in camp, Carl Green, number 28, riding Homeboy. He brings forward a 89.5 from the first round.
Outside, last competitor, last but not least, 28, Carl Green and Homeboy. This is Carl's own nomination. He's a long way from home. He hails from Walker. And as Karen said, he brings an 89.5 into this final round.
Scores through there for Carl Green, riding Homeboy, of an 18, 61 and 4 for a total of 83, together with his 89.5 from the first round, gives him a total score of 172.5. So that concludes our drafting. We do have a clear leader.
And we'll give you the winner and place getters very, very shortly. We'll just get an official printout. And we'll come back to you very shortly. But we would like to do our presentations at the completion. We'll be looking for Dean Rogers, Barry Johnson, Robert Leach, Andrew Turvy, Bill Carey, Ken Knutson, Grant Watham, and Peter O'Neill. We'll let you know who else we're looking for shortly. If those competitors would please come to send a ring, we'll get set up for our presentation. And we will give you the winner and place getters very shortly of the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Campdraft. It's over, Angus, it's over. Just breathe. What a shame. It just went to poo in the...
Score there for, sorry, it's been a long day. Winners and place getters for the Henry Earthmoving Restricted Open Draft. In first place, Michael Hayes, riding Branch Vale Conviction with a 181, wins that $5,670. In second place, Cameron Webster, riding Bob. Third place, Sam Campbell on Conai. Fourth place, David Reeder, riding Cody. Fifth and sixth equal will be Louise Kamisky on Good Time Chick, and John Malai riding Stratton Jest Rosie. So if we could please have those competitors to the presentation area, we'll do that presentation. So in first place, Michael Hayes on Merle. Second, Cameron Webster on Bob. Third, Sam Campbell on Conai. Fourth, David Reeder on Cody. Fifth and sixth, Louise Kamisky and John Malai. Congratulations to the winners and place getters.